All right, you guys can notice the little record button up top, and I'll take that off as soon as we're all done and everything here too. So, all right, everybody. It's good to be back and doing another uh, interview over Zoom here and catching up with everybody. Bryan Wolf with Roads, Rivers, and Trails here. And you might recognize one of the guys with me here today. Two different gentlemen joining me here today. We have Joe Solomon and Curtis Casto, and I'm going to introduce both of those guys in a little bit. Although, I'm going to share my screen here. You might not need. Oh, I have a different introduction for Joe, I think here. Joe's nervous. what's, what's going on? He says, what's going on? All right, here we go. So, Joe, we've had many of talks and on your different long distance paddles, paddling the Ohio, paddling the Mississippi, paddling down to the Gulf, and you're about to embark on another journey here. So I thought it best just to
play that teaser.
Joseph Solomon. Joe Solomon.
Joe Solomon is kayak before it calls.
Joe Solomon.
Hey,
Joe Solomon.
That was a good share, man. That's a teaser that I put out recently about working on a documentary.
Yeah. I mean, you've done so much, and so many of our conversations to remind everybody is not just the physical feats and just the insane adventures that you've gone on, these long distance paddles that few people have done in many cases, but also such a great cause, a noble cause in your mission each time. You've both raised money for great organizations like Adventure Crew, but you have also constantly raised awareness for mental health and put out there your personal struggles and said, you know what, I'm going to speak up about my personal struggles to be an advocate for other people that have mental health issues, to try to better this situation for everybody. So hats off to you, and thanks for joining again.
Thank you, Bryan. I appreciate that little intro you got there.
Yeah, and so I don't want to leave out our second attendee and Curtis Casto, and I really appreciate you joining, Curtis. And this has been man, it's been a whirlwind of a year, honestly, hearing about you. It's been really cool because I feel like I've just gone 0 to 60 and like, whoa, what's going on? This person's amazing. How did I not know everything that this person has done? So Curtis has basically, and I'll let him tell his story, but founded the Onion Bag Project. And what that means is he's taken it upon himself, both with previous work with Paddling for Heroes, but now his own kind of initiative in cleaning up litter on not just our local waterways, although the Little Miami watershed is a huge concentration right now, but many other places. And I'll kind of jump over and share my screen one more time here. Sorry for that little glitch. But let's just jump over one more time, and I want to share exactly the impact here. This is a map of all of the basically posts that Curtis has put in part of a fight against litter in our waterways. And so, you're looking at, we'll zoom out a little bit. You're all over Ohio. You're all over the place. And so it's just a huge impact. And so I first hear about you with Mark Bersani at Loveland Canoe and Kayak, and he's adopted some of these litter bag project posts along the Little Miami River around Loveland. Roads, Rivers, and Trails hopes to get an installation soon and take care of some litter onion bag posts around the southern section. But Curtis, thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us here today.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
So
thanks for Joseph for offering to help out too. It's been a real inspiration to me.
He does that to people.
Yes, yes.
Well, and I think you're an inspiration for people here too. This is pretty amazing. This is just in 3 or 4 short years you've taken on this initiative, and then so Joe finds you, or you guys find each other on the Ohio. I'll let you guys tell that story here in a second. So now, Joe, you're doing another paddle and raising awareness for the Onion Bag Project, and we just want to do our part in getting that word out. So why don't one of you go ahead and just tell the story about how you all met?
Well, I'm laying in my tent and on Facebook, and somehow we got connected, and I said, this guy's only like 300 miles ahead of me. I tried to catch up, but I got sick. You
This
got
is on.
flooded out. Yeah, I was way back. I started in Pittsburgh. He started in Cincinnati. So, but I think we started about the same time.
Was this 2019?
This was last year.
This is
No.
last year's trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year. And
Yeah, last year I had paddled from Cincinnati to the Gulf, and when I launched in Cincinnati, I saw that a friend of mine sent me a thing saying, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And I said, "No, I don't, but I'll message him." And I messaged him, and sure enough, he was attempting to paddle the whole Ohio, and we stayed in contact every day. You know, talking about the winds that we had to deal with, and then he had gotten a waterborne illness and had to get off the river. But we've stayed in contact since then because his Paddle for Heroes project that he was working on really sparked my interest. And then he started within the past couple years the Onion Bag Litter Project. And I'm into clean waterways and healthy access for everybody to enjoy the rivers. And he's out there doing this incredible work, putting boxes up at boat launches and at kayak liveries so that people can collect the garbage along the river. And it goes further than that. You can use these onion bags, which here I'll show you. They fit in your back pocket. And you can take this with you anywhere you go and reuse them. And I think that's just amazing, the project that he's got going on. And I think this paddle that I start this coming Monday, I will be raising awareness and try to raise some money for his organization, because it's very important that we do keep the waterways clean. And Bryan, you know that I've been out there with you this year cleaning up trash.
Yeah,
collecting tires.
We're all on the same page there, except for Curtis puts us both to shame on this side of things.
I know, dude. I think the guy's paddled more miles than I have in just 1 year.
Here I am trying to have a competition of showing off how much I can clean the river, and I'm like, oh, this guy has how many posts? Curtis, go ahead and tell us about the start of this project, how it started, and kind of where you're at now with this project.
Well, it was brought to Ohio by the founder of Paddle for Heroes, Stephen Fleming, and he had discovered it down at the Buffalo River in Arkansas. And down there, they just issue you onion bag when you get on the river, and then they take it back with all your garbage at the end. And actually, there are 2 states that I know of that do this on a regular basis. In Missouri, onion bags are free to all the liveries from the state. Same thing in Texas. You get a tube, you rent a tube, you get an onion bag. But Ohio, we're sometimes in some things we're a little bit behind, but we're going to catch up. I seen a post at Paddle for Heroes. They wanted somebody to build a box. Does anybody have any scrap wood? Can you build a box? And I started from there, and that was 3 years ago. And I probably built about 200 boxes, because some of the boxes I built at first were pretty crappy and have had to been replaced. I have a design now. It's on my website that I use, and I make them all about the same, paint them all the same, and install them all the same. That way, you know what to expect when you come up to them. But we started on the Kayaking River, and we covered all the parks on the Kayaking River. We were lucky because all these parks were controlled by the same organization, the Knox County Park District, and we had a lot of support with our director there, and we got all these in. It did reduce the litter. We do a cleanup there every year, and we noticed that the loose litter was going down. So now when they go out to collect litter in September, which they did just last weekend, they get a lot less litter, and they about the same amount of tires, unfortunately, and junk, heavy metal junk. But used to be we would fill a whole dumpster with bags full of litter, but not now. It seems like it's went down about 90% actually.
Wow.
From what the dumpsters looked like to me on the pictures anyway. But that, I just kept going down the river, then I went up, a friend of mine went up the Tuscaroras River, and I went down to Muskingum, down to Wahalding, and just went from there. Paddle for Heroes didn't want to put in any more boxes that we had kind of overwhelmed them. So I formed my own organization, called it the Onion Bag Litter Prevention Project, which I think that's important, prevention. We want to keep it from even getting in the water if we can. But we also want to get an environment where when people grab a bag and they put their litter in it, you get them in the mindset that if they see litter, they pick it up too. So if everybody could pick up one bag full of litter every time they go out, just imagine. I mean, that's thousands and thousands of people picking up bags full of litters every week.
The beautiful dream.
We wouldn't have anything to do. I mean, our cleanups would all be moot points, and we wouldn't need them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point for what you're doing, is that this is you started, this is about awareness. You could put the post in, but twofold, you're looking for companies or individuals to help participate in caring for the boxes and filling the boxes. This doesn't fall on any one individual. Right. Just like Loveland Canoe and Kayak is adopting a couple, RT hopes to adopt a couple. If you've got a company or you as an individual want to adopt a box, that's going to be very welcomed, right? And then two, right, you got to use you use the darn things, right? So this is going to be the idea. We fill these with onion bags, and whenever you come up, you can walk along the river, fish along the river, canoe along the river, kayak along the river, grab a bag, fill it up. These things are great. So they're not going to rip like trash bags.
They're reusable.
They're reusable.
That's why we use them, because when you go over and take a swim in your boat, and it's always when, it's not if, everybody's going to go over and take a swim, your litter stays inside the bag.
You're right.
And it's orange, so you can see it. And if maybe you don't find it, it's still going to be in the bag. Somebody will find the bag and pick up the litter.
When the water will drain out too, my trash bags always get so heavy when you load something saturated into it, so.
Correct. And they don't tear up. I think you could probably tie them together and tow your car with it.
Maybe. So Joe, how many of these bags are you going to take on this upcoming Mississippi paddle?
I think I have about 15 bags that I packed into my dry sack.
And try to reuse. If you can dump the trash somewhere, then you could even keep reusing.
Yeah.
It.
Well, I'm gonna use one to keep our trash in, as well as there's a woman in Louisville that started a project where she collects balls along the river And if it's like a flattened ball that's ripped in half, it becomes a dog toy. And if it's a real good and decent ball, it goes to a kid.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna collect balls along the way if I find them, and then I'll be handing the bags out to the river angels that I have contact with, and have them get their pictures taken with me in the bags. And I'm really excited to go down the river and raise some more awareness for mental health, as well as raise awareness about the Onion Bag Litter Project.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting about the balls you said too. I didn't know you were doing that part of it. And it's funny because people love recreating next to rivers. You go down there, you toss a frisbee, you should collect frisbees too. But from there's golf courses around the river, or there's marinas and pools around, and I mean that the volleyballs, soccer balls, footballs, they always end up. We end up getting one or two of those every cleanup that we do. I think for the length of your paddle, you'll have some luck with that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what, the lower Mississippi, it flushes itself out pretty well. There's not a whole lot of garbage that's located on the sandbars. Now, if you get up into the trees when the floods come through, then you're going to have garbage. But it's really to me. I haven't seen a lot of garbage myself on the lower part of the Mississippi. Not to say that I don't see garbage, but it's not all held up like you would think on a smaller river.
Yeah. So what, Joe, what has you going back on the Mississippi? You're doing, okay, this is a little bit different. You've been out there, but you're doing Memphis all the way to the Gulf, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Through Yellow Lake, through Yellow Bayou and Hog Bayou. So we're gonna paddle from Memphis to the Old Lock, which is right before you get to Baton Rouge. On the right-hand side of the river, there's a lock that leads to the Atchafalaya River, and we're going to take the Atchafalaya to the Gulf. It cuts out about 100 miles on a source-to-sea trip, but you still get to the Gulf no matter what. My friend John Steele has done from Lake Itasca all the way to Memphis, and then he hung it up to get some work in and get better weather in Memphis. And I had noticed that he had hung it up in Memphis, so I contacted him to find out, hey, when are you getting back on the river? And he said in the fall. And so I asked him if he didn't mind if I came along with him. The whole time he's been out, he's been saying, hey, I got an extra seat in the front of my boat if anybody wants to paddle with me. And nobody really took him up on it. Some people did say they would paddle with him, and things didn't work out, but I'm going to go down there and paddle with this gentleman for his last 600 miles of his source to sea.
That's awesome. I mean, I can tell you, you're always thirsty to get back out on the river. You can only take so long off before that river comes calling you. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and it's pretty awesome opportunity all around for you to get back out on the river, and you've got experience with that river.
Yeah, and I got a lot of stuff going on this year. That's why I didn't choose to do a real long trip. I'm in the process of writing a book right now about mental health and what it's like to live with a mental health condition here in America, and how the system treats people with mental health conditions. And I've also been working on a documentary series, which we want to wait till the book comes out first so that we know what direction to take the first episode of the documentary in, based on what I let out in the book. A lot of the documentary is going to be my paddles, and the book is going to be about my life. So I got those two things going on, and I'm also silently working on starting a nonprofit myself. I haven't really told too many people about it or what exactly I'm going to do, but
There's a little sneak peek launch here you're doing.
yeah, well, a little bit, yeah. But I'm gonna end up starting this nonprofit here in Cincinnati that's gonna serve the community as a whole, not just youth and adults, but both youth and adults.
Awesome. And paddling focused, or?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, I figured it had an element like that. Yeah, getting people outdoors and
Oh yeah. there'll be hiking, paddling, bicycling, you know, whatever people, whatever I can do to show people that there's healing properties in nature, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Well, Joe, you don't stop moving much, and so go figure that you've got all these irons in the fire and some pretty awesome things coming right around the bend. And I trust that you'll keep us up to date on each one of those.
Oh yeah,
the book and the docu-series is releases and things like that. So it's pretty amazing. Continue to inspire people to get out, and it's pretty awesome.
yeah. I've been doing a lot of making connections, and I think that's really important for what I plan to do. Is to have connections of people that are behind me, so that I'm not in this all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And all alone. You know, I've got a lot of folks that are willing to help out with starting this project that I want to work on.
Yeah. Curtis, any plans for some more long distance paddling since the
I think I'm going to go with Joe down to Mississippi. What, next year maybe?
awesome.
The year after, Curtis, and you just let it out, man.
Sorry.
Thanks for telling everybody.
I want to do the Mississippi, but I also want to do the Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, those are two rivers that I'm going to be doing within the next 3 years. I think the Mississippi in 2025, and then 2026. There's this young woman named Madison that is a steward of all rivers, and she wants to do the Missouri, and so we decided that we were going to do that one together in 2026. I didn't tell anybody I was doing the Mississippi in 2025, though. Thanks for getting it out there, brother.
Sorry about that.
I love that I'm getting
That's okay.
all of these like this breaking news, right? Like the first you heard it here first at RRT.
Yeah.
This is where we find things out first.
I would like to go paddle like down to Mississippi and then around Florida in the Intercoastal Waterway. I used to live in Georgia on the Intercoastal Waterway, and I know that a lot of those bays are sort of rough to get across, but if you have the right kind of craft, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Chris, what I love that you were sharing with your story is that you've really only been a avid paddler for about 4 years or so now.
But when COVID started, I was 110 pounds heavier, and I was a serious diabetic. I was probably 3 years from needing dialysis. And so I lost the weight. I'm hardly even considered a diabetic anymore. My kidney function is back up to normal. So, and I used to walk with a walker.
Wow.
I had to walk with a walker to walk over 100 yards. Now I can put a canoe on my back and walk a mile.
Right. That's remarkable. And you're talking about
incredible.
Going to Mississippi and Intercoastal, and
I mean,
how much you could change.
I started 4 summers ago in a inflatable Intex kayak, and I would go out and do a mile and 2 miles a day and 3 miles a day, and I got up to like 10 miles a day that first summer when I was really losing the weight. And then the next year I got a little better kayak and just kept going. This year I did, because of putting in all these boxes everywhere, I haven't had as much time to do long distance. So I'm down about half of what I did last year. But
don't make me go back to that map. You've done enough work. You're allowed to enjoy yourself too.
Yeah, I agree. But now, most of that map is proposed, the future, but there are 1,200 canoe and kayak accesses in Ohio, and we've done almost 100, so we have 1,100 to do, and we plan on doing those in the next 2 years.
Wow.
2 to 3 years. So we're looking at a budget of around $100,000. We also have other projects going though with that. I mean, it's not just the boxes. It's the livery owners too. We try to sign up livery owners. We give them 100 bags. We say, here, give these out when you rent a kayak, and collect them back up. Some of the livery owners have come up with some really inventive ideas where if you bring back a whole bag of garbage with you, you get $5 off your next rental. So we give bags away that way. We're also starting next spring by we're going to go along the banks of the rivers with I have a lot of young ladies that want to help me out, and they're going to go hand fishermen bags along the rivers so they can collect up their garbage. And we're going to do, 10, 15 of those kind of deals where we go out and hand out bags to the fishermen. So we have several different prongs here of trying to keep the litter down, and try to prevent it, get it in the right places. Now, if we could only get the parks to put their trash cans back in. That's one of our problems. Parks have come up with a solution that they think it's better if everybody takes it with them. So some of them are taking out their trash cans, and we're trying to convince them not to do that.
Yep.
To keep a trash can by where we're putting the boxes anyway.
There's a lot of working parts, and you kind of mentioned that already, and a lot of it comes down to local or state governments and what's supplied. Right. You see other states kind of doing this, and the results are amazing. Like you said, you saw 90% less litter on your river, when you instituted this program. And I could tell you from the years on the Little Miami, it is so pristine all the time. This isn't about, I always remind people, this isn't about like, hey, we're going out to this dirty river. No, we're going out to these pristine rivers. These things are gorgeous. These things are beautiful. We just got to keep them that way. And it doesn't happen automatically. It takes a little bit of effort, and that's what we want from everybody else that's listening. Guys, I do want you each to go and tell everybody listening, where to find more out about your initiatives, websites, donation pages, everything like that. Curtis, I'll let you go first, and then we'll go to Joe.
Well, mine's easy, onionbag.org, and has a link on there to our GoFundMe. We just got started, so we just have a GoFundMe. I don't have it on the Facebook yet, but hopefully soon I'll have a button on there.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, I just got to get registered with that Meta.
Okay.
But that's where you find out everything there, and like our page on Facebook, the Onion Bag Litter Prevention Program or Project.
If somebody wants to say adopt a box or whatever it is, they message you on Facebook, or is your email on the website?
Send me an email. Yeah, my email's on there. My address is on there. My phone number. You can call me. And we're really interested too in like organizations like on the Olentangy, they have Friends of the Lower Olentangy River Watershed Network, and they're going to help me on those boxes. City of Columbus is going to take over their boxes, and sometimes the governments get involved and they want to just buy the bags and put them in there.
Well, it's not like corporations off the hook either. So much of the trash we're picking up comes from consumer goods or whatever it is. You brought up tires and tire companies. Like, hey, adopt a box here. This
Right.
shout out goes out, goes out to everybody.
Right. Either that or give us some money so we can get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your book is bigger than your energy level, yeah, let's do it. Joe, how
Right.
can we find you?
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I put a link into the Onion Bag Litter Prevention Project.org on my page. But you can find me on Facebook at Kayaking for a Cause with the number 4 instead of spelling out 4. It's Kayaking for a Cause. I do also have a website that I just started, which I'll be doing blogging in along this journey that I start next Monday. That's josephRsolomon.com. If you don't know how to spell my last name, it's spelled with all O's. So josephRsolomon.com. And then you can find me on Instagram as well at Kayaking for a Cause. With the number 4, or TikTok is Kayaking for a Cause as well.
You stay busy with all those things.
Oh God, I'm getting tired of it. I don't know how much I'm going to do with the TikTok, but yeah, I'm out there paddling, running a Facebook page every single day. My phone's usually dead by noon, and
Right. Right.
It's a whole nother job, right?
yeah,
But it's such an important element of what you do because, again, I said it in the beginning, but your message is on point and needs to be heard. Pretty much everybody out there needs to hear it, whether you think you're dealing with mental illness or not. You need to hear it, and then just the inspiration and the information. Let's say you just the people you can get signed up for a big adventure and say, hey, you know what? I can do that. I didn't even know people did that. I didn't even know that was possible, that people would, paddle, source to sea. That's crazy. Okay. Cause there's not a lot of people that think about things like that. And what an amazing opportunity. It can be done. It is done several times by you. So, and you're great at sharing, not just your overall messaging, but the process. I think you are a wealth of knowledge on paddling and how to do big trips like this. So
yeah, man, it's really a labor of love for me. I am all about raising awareness for mental health, and whatever I choose to do, be it in a kayak, canoe, on a jet ski, whatever I want to do to get that word out and get people engaged in talking about it. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll keep doing it. And I don't have a problem with it.
it's awesome. Guys, I'll let you, any final thoughts you want to get out there to everybody?
Well, I'd just like to say, you're never too old. I didn't start this till I was 64 years old. So, you're never too old. Get out there, go. I mean, sometimes I feel like a kid with some of the people I go out with because they're a lot older than me even. And you get with the nature, and it's a whole different world. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
My final words are donate to theonionbag.org while I'm out on the river for the next 20 days.
Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. Guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I look forward to following, both of your journeys, both the progress with the Onion Bag Litter Prevention Program, and of course, Joe Solomon with your paddling endeavors, and wish you luck along the way. How many miles and how long are you going to be out?
About 600 miles, and we're thinking somewhere between 15 to 20 days.
Yeah. That's a cakewalk for you, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
600 miles isn't too bad. That's kind of a warm up, so I'm probably going to be pretty upset by the time I'm done with it because there's not much paddling left to do up here this time of year. So
what do river conditions look like for this trip coming up?
the water is very low, but if you stay in the middle of the channel, you can go pretty quick. You just got to watch out because there are a lot of barges that are hung up or not even able to get up the river. So
Wow.
it's going to be like dodging barges type deal, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. The guy that I'm paddling with is a fun guy anyway, so I think we're going to have a good time.
Good. Well, best of luck to you, guys. I'll chat with you a little bit more after the call. But guys, everybody, check out their initiatives, follow them along the journey, and we hope to catch up with the both of you again soon. We appreciate it.
Thank you.